that, O Lord, we are surrendering unto you. Please give us the intelligence so that we can understand your words. With this mood, chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra with me, starting with the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. Please fold your hands in the mood of reverence and please repeat after me. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So I have been given the topic today to speak on Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga. So first of all, we will pick up some of shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita. People like saints Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Vishnu Swami, they have all agreed to one particular point, that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedas. That's why the other name of Gita is also Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of all the Upanishads. For your knowledge, 94% of the Vedas are lost. Only 6% are available in the world today. Only 6%. And just by studying 6% of any subject, you can't know the subject fully. That is why Srimad Bhagavad Gita gains great importance. And Adi Shankaracharya has gone to the extent of saying that if the Vedas are the cow, then the milk is Bhagavad Gita. Very clearly. He says the Vedas are cow and the milk is Bhagavad Gita. We are not interested in, what are we interested? We are interested in the milk. Because that's what gives us nourishment to lead a life. So in the same way, this milk of Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge by which we can lead life. Now there every time, remember one thing, when you have in, I think so in Mauritius, you must be also having, where a person is going into medicine or going into engineering. If a person is going into medicine, he should have physics, chemistry and biology. And if he is going into engineering, he should have physics, chemistry and mathematics. So he should be qualified to understand that particular subject. So Bhagavad Gita in itself is telling us that what is the qualification of a person who can understand Bhagavad Gita. In the 4th chapter, 34th shloka, it is very clearly stated by Bhagavad Gita, by Krishna, where he is every time stated as Bhagavan Uvacha, that it is the Supreme Lord who is speaking. And he says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. O Arjun, tad vidhi pranipatena, in the mood of surrender, pariprasnena, put up questions. Pariprashna, very clear, prashna. Pariprasnena, sevaya, and then you follow the instructions. Of whom? Pariprasnena sevaya upadakshanti, then take updesh. Take what do you take from him? Upadesh. There are 3 ways the people listen. Shota. There are 3 types of shotas. One is one who takes it as sandesh, that is called information. Number 2, upadesh, who's actually a shishya. He takes the sandesh person is only interested, like he comes, he sits, he goes. He's not interested in following or anything. So he's just an information gatherer, like we do on Google, right? We may be Googling through a lot of things, but we're just taking it as information. We never use it. Just taking it as information. Whereas information should be upon transformation. That's very important. And that level comes in the Shota when he's a student, Upadesh. That's why Krishna, when Arjuna tells Krishna that Shishya sneham sadhi mam prapanam, in the 2nd chapter, 7th shloka, he says that now I am a student unto you and I am a surrender student. That means I have come here to learn. I am not coming here to gather information. So please give me Upadesh. Upadesh means that you can ask questions. The only right of a Shishya is that he can ask questions. And the only right the Guru has is basically to answer those questions and remove the doubts from the mind of the student. And the next level is called Adesh. There then there is no questions. It is like Hanumanji. He never used to ask questions when Ramji used to give him an instruction. So these are 3 types of people who are going to listen to it. So now here Krishna, in this shloka, he says, Pari prashnena sevaya upatakshanti te jnaninam jnanas tattva darshina. Go to a jnani who is tattva darshi, who has seen the truth. Now who has seen the truth? Go to the 18th chapter, 55th shloka. Krishna says, Bhaktya mam avijanati. Very simple Sanskrit, Bhaktya. Bhaktya means what? Bhakt. Sorry, not a jnani, not a yogi, not a dhyani. Bhaktya mam avijanati. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Janati means knows. Only a devotee knows me. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. But you may say, he may not be knowing in tattva, in reality. But no, he says there, 2nd line, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Yavan yas yasmi tattvata. In truth, only a devotee can know me. No one else. That's why in the 7th chapter he says very clearly, Bahunam janmanam ante. After many births, Jnanvan, a person who is not in knowledge, complete knowledge, Mam prapadyate, he surrenders unto me. He surrenders to whom? To Krishna. Here he is very clearly pointing out me, Mam. He is not saying you. He is very clear. So here, and the another thing which he says very clearly, that means the speaker should be a bhakta. I'm sorry, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. I've got nothing to add on my own. I'll just present before you what Bhagavad Gita says. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedas. And remember one thing, Vedas are not on same platform. They are on different levels. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda. There are 3 levels of the Vedas. The first level is called Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means where you're only interested in your body. You go to the demigods, and for your knowledge, there are 33 crore demigods. You must be knowing about that. How many? And yes, they have got jealousy within them. If you don't pray to one, the other gets jealous. You must have heard on the Puranas, Indra. What used to happen? When someone used to do austerities here, Indra used to get jealous and envious. Oh my God, this man will take my position. So what did he do with Vishwamitra? He sent the Apsara to break his tapasya. So the basic fact is this, the 33 crore demigods. And in Gita, Krishna says very clearly, Yanti deva varta devan pitrani yanti pitravata bhutani yanti bhuteja majjajino api mam. Yanti deva varta devan. You pray to the demigods, you go to the demigods. Pitrani yanti pitravata, you pray to the forefathers, you go to the forefathers. Yes, there are lokas. Pitralok is there. Devatas have got their own places. And bhutani yanti bhuteja. Bhutani means ghosts. You pray to the ghosts and you go to the ghost. Very clear. Yeah. Bhutani yanti bhuteja majjajino api mam. If you pray to me, then you come to me. So please remove this, that all the path leads to the same place. Sorry, Gita does not accept it. It very clearly in the sloka, very clearly stated. You pray to the devas, you go to the devas. And he says in the 7th chapter, very clearly, kamais taisthair hitta jnana prapadyanti anya devata. The people whose intelligence kamais taisthair hitta jnana. Hit means har liya gaya. His jnana has been taken away by what? By lust. What is lust? For what? For satisfying the senses. The lust for satisfying the senses is known as kama. And the same thing when you want to satisfy the senses of the Lord, it is known as bhakti. See? When you have that lust to satisfy the senses of the Lord, then it is called bhakti. And when you want to satisfy your own senses, then you are known as asura. Ravana was a very big, no jnani equal to Ravan today. Is there any tapasvi equal to Ravan? Sorry, no one. He had immeasurable strength. He had knowledge. He was a jnani. Direct darshan of Shivji. Then also he was called, what was he called? Demon, asura. Please try to understand. Open up the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and go through it. And then in the end, Krishna says that who can understand me? This is the Shloka Sankhya 67. I'll read out the exact translation. The confidential knowledge, this confidential knowledge, may never be explained. He says, never be explained to those who are not austere. Nata pakshaya, who is not austere. First, not austere, nor a devotee, who is not devoted to me. He says very clearly, na bhaktaya, very simple Sanskrit, na bhaktaya, who is not a devotee. This knowledge should not be explained to him. Now as today, and then he says, or engaged in devotional service, not to those who are envious of me. Who is envious? What does enviousness mean? When we want to become God, it is actually called enviousness of God. What does enviousness mean? That as you can't become him, so you drag him to your level. That is enviousness. You start thinking yourself to be God. I'm sorry. God is no position. God is no post. I'll explain to you. Now today, Narad Bhakti Sutra. I'll basically pick up only 2-3 sutras on the first word, Narad. Who is Narad? One of the greatest devotees of Narayana. Sorry, he's not a Jnani, he's not a Dhyani, he's not a Yogi. What is he? He's a Bhakta. Very clear. And the second word is Narad Bhakti. Because of Bhakti, a Bhakt will only know about Bhakti. Like a businessman will only know about greens. Right? He doesn't know anything else. He only knows about green notes. And a person who is interested in knowledge, in education, he would only be interested in books. You see the professors and the people, I'm not talking about professors of today because sometimes they don't get a job then they become a teacher. But I'm not talking about those teachers. I'm talking about a teacher who is really interested in knowledge because the work of a Brahmana, Brahman means a teacher, is to take knowledge and to give knowledge. First he should take knowledge. If you know, Sutra means in 2-3 words, you got explanation of thousands of words. That is actually meaning of Sutra. Sutra is a condensed form of a book, you can say. Now, Gita in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only a devotee can know me. So, who can know the sutra? A devotee. Please understand one thing. Now, I am coming up to Narad Bhakti Sutra. Let's start from the first sutra. He said, atato, atato means, atha means now, and atha means therefore. Now, therefore, what should we do? Bhaktim vyakhyasya maha vyakya. We shall try to explain. What? Bhaktim. What is devotee? Now a person like Narada Muni is saying what? Now, therefore. Why does he use now, therefore? Now, therefore means previously we were all animals in the animal yoni. But today we are in human form of life. So now, as you are in the human form of life, I will explain what? Bhakti to whom? For us. And that also he says, I will try. That means Bhakti cannot be fully explained. Bhakti cannot be fully explained. That's why he says, now therefore, I will try to explain the process of devotional service. Now what does he say in the second sutra? He says, Satva asmin param prema rupaha. He uses the word what? Rupa. What is it? Devotional service manifests as the most elevated pure love of God. How does it manifest? As pure love. Now let us come to love. Because bhakti means what? Any other, if anyone wants to add, that what does bhakti mean? Love, right? Love to God. Now let us analyze it. Love has 3 things. Let's come out. Please answer this question for me. What 3 things is love? What does 3 things are necessary for this love, the word love to come about? Forget God. Devotion. I'm asking what 3 things are involved in devotion. Now you are giving the process. Before the process there should be something else. How should be there? Again you are giving process. The first you have to, what does love need? First 2 things, tell me. I and yes, there have to be 2. First thing in bhakti is this, there has to be 2. The one who is going to love and the one you are going to love. So there are 2 things. And the third thing is what? The love itself. So there are 3 things involved in bhakti. First, One who loves, second he is to be loved, and third is the link, the love. So bhakti actually has to have three things. Without these three things, there can be no love. So when you talk of bhakti now, you need you, God, and the love. Very clear? Is there any doubt? See, remember one thing, satsang, the most important thing in satsang is to remove doubts. Satsang has got nothing more to do. Satsang's only work is to remove doubts, improve your shraddha, that is called faith. Has to increase your faith. And the biggest enemy of faith is doubt. There is no another thing. In satsang only doubt should be removed. There should be no other thing on satsang. Faith, if there is no faith, how will you practice it? So now he says here, devotional service manifests as the most elevated pure love of God. Now see, devotional service. Now try to understand one thing. Bhakti means what? Bhakti actually means, in our perspective, don't take this perspective of God. In our perspective, bhakti means to do, when you love someone, what do you do? Oh, I love you, finished. A mother tells us, kid, I love you. The kid says, I want this one, I love you. The son tells the father and mother, I love you. No, love translates, love is something which is subtle. But to show love, it has to come onto the gross level. And what is that gross level? It has to manifest itself. It has to crystallize. And that crystallization is known as service. So, what is bhakti? Bhakti means loving service or devotional service. Because without service, there is no bhakti. Without service, there is no bhakti. That means, in our perspective, bhakti means what? Loving service. Manifests as the most elevated pure love of God. That means if you are in pure love of God, what will happen? Your service toward the Lord will manifest itself. Hanumanji, one of the major examples, because people know Hanumanji a lot. They basically study Ramayana a lot. And we have got one of the main characters is Hanumanji. How does it manifest? He is every time eager. He is in pure love of God. He is in pure love of Lord Rama. He is in pure love of Lord Ram. How does it manifest? It manifests that every second he wants to serve the Lord. Is it so or not? Have you heard that story where he had no service? And he asked Lord Ram and Sita, give me some service. He says, there is no service. So Ram, he says, no, you have to give me something. He says, okay, you start snapping. So he says, oh good. So he sat down and started snapping. He says, something you give me. I can't stay without serving you for a moment. That is pure love of God. When that comes, then you try to follow the Lord. Every moment you want some service from the Lord. And that's what Naradji is saying in this particular sutra. Now what he says in the third sutra, very important sutra. Try to understand this. In the third sutra, he says three words. Amrita Swarupa cha. Amrita means what? Amrita. In word comes from what? Divide it. Mrit means what? Mrit means ends. Right? Means which does not end. So other meaning of Amrit is immortality, eternal. And only an eternal thing actually can give nectar. Now you basically said nectar, but how does it become nectar? Can temporary things become nectar? No, they're going to give you problems. Why is the tension there? Why are you in tension? Because every time fearful of the future, because you know everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. You know that. That's why there is a problem. But then what is Amrit? Amrit means which never dies. It is immortal. It is eternal. And that's why it is nectar. If it is not immortal, it is never nectar. Remember one thing. So Amrita, we immediately talk Amrit. What does Amrit mean in reality? Amrit really means Amrit, death, no. So it is immortality. Eternal Swarupa. Swarup means what? Nature. What is the nature of this bhakti? It is eternal. Oh, now let's come down to this. This is very important. Now if bhakti is eternal, that means the constituents have to be eternal. If the constituents of bhakti are not eternal, can bhakti be eternal? Is it possible? Because the thing is made of its own constituents. For example, in your balance sheet, you got all losses. What will be the total? Loss or profit? Loss. Because, simple, the constituent is losses. That is why result is loss. Now if the constituent is profit, so your result also will be profit. So now here also, when it says that bhakti swarupa, the nature of bhakti is what? Eternal. That it is eternal. So constituents, what were the constituents of bhakti? Let's repeat it. I, God, and the relationship between us. That means I am eternal, God is eternal, and that love is eternal. Now when you're studying Bhakti Narada Bhakti Sutra, if you think that you're going to merge into God and become God, that means Bhakti finishes. And if Bhakti finishes, then this Sutra is useless. That means Narada Bhakti Sutra is useless. One should not read it. Please try to understand this very clearly. If I am not going to exist, and Bhakti, real Bhakti starts from where? Try to understand. Sometimes people ask me this question. I said the first question which should be asked to a guru is actually what happens after liberation. Yeah? What does? All religions talk of mukti. It may be Christianity, they say go back to heaven. Quran says go to Jannat. They say go to heaven, Jannat. Every faith talks of getting out of here. Liberation. Now simple thing. Liberation means what? Independence. Right? That means we are here in bondage. Clear? If we are asking for independence, that means I am not independent, that means I am in bondage. Very simple. There can be only two aspects. You are independent, you are in bondage. There is no neutral. Sorry. There are some things, car may have a neutral, but everything doesn't have a neutral. In the same way, if I ask you 2 into 2, what is 2 into 2? 4. That is the right answer. Can there be a neutral answer to this? No, sorry. There can't be neutral answer. So there you don't think that everything has got a neutral answer. No. There are certain things which are just right and wrong. In the same way, you are independent or you are in bondage. Bas. Today we are in bondage. Today what are we in? Bondage. Bhav bandhan. Sanskrit word bhav bandhan. Bhav means what? Bhav means this material world. Bhav sagar. Heard about that word? Bhava sagar. What does bhava mean? Bhava means full of miseries. Gita says, dukhalyam or shashvatam. This word is what? Dukh alya. Vidyalya. Alya means house. The house of Vidya. Dukhalya means the house of suffering. This world is full of suffering. The person who created is saying this. And what are we doing? Trying to make this place a place of happiness. He says, no. Here you can become, in relation to this world, you can become neutral. There you can become neutral. And use neutrality and then you can get out. Because try to understand, though this is not the topic of today, but just to apply in your life. The biggest, remember one thing, if you enjoy success, you will have to enjoy loss. So, be neutral in success. It's come, it will go one day. But what happens with us? We are like pendulum. This side, enjoy, success has come, enjoying it. So, Baba, when loss comes, that also you have to enjoy. But what happens? This pendulum starts from here to there, then here. No, keep it here. No problems. That's how you leave the world. So, Bhakti, it states that you are there, the Lord is there, and the service is there. That is what means Amrita Swarupacha. Swarupa. The Swarup, the nature of Bhakti is eternal. So if it is eternal, the constituents have to be eternal. It's a must. There is no other way out. There is no other way out. Narada Bhakti Sutra, in the beginning only clarified this. Because if you don't, don't understand what is the nature of a particular thing, why should you do it? Try to understand one thing. Why did he clarify in the third sutra, why does he say that bhakti is eternal? Because an intelligent man would like to have eternal relationships, eternal job, right? Would you like to have a temporary job which finishes every month? No, no one wants it. Everyone wants permanency in his life. Every one of us who is intelligent, I'm sorry to say. The persons who are not intelligent are looking after temporary things. And there are many of them. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kasidhatati siddhai. Out of thousands and thousands, few will try to attain for perfection. And out of those who have attained perfection, only a few will attain that perfect perfection. And that's what he says. He can only become a devotee. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bahunam janmanamante. After many, many births, a person who is in knowledge will surrender unto me. Ravana was too much in knowledge, then also he could not surrender. He did not surrender to Lord Shiva. Please remember one thing. He did not surrender to Lord Shiva. He made Lord Shiva surrender to him. He will say, no, that's wrong. No. It's a fact. Why? Because he got things done from Lord Shiva. He never followed Lord Shiva. So the bhakti's major thing is, people tell me all over India also, when I preach in India and go out also, when I talk about, I'm a bhakta of Lord Shiva, when I shut up. Nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm known in India as AK-47 speaker. I don't mince words. What is right and what is wrong. Sometimes people say sadhu should not get angry. No, our Shastra says there are two types of angers. Dharma rosh and Kam rosh. Kam rosh is this, then my desire is not getting fulfilled. And Dharma rosh means when you are not doing the right thing, I am getting annoyed on you. So it says the king, the guru and the parents should get angry on their wards to basically give them the right direction. It's stated very clearly. That's why Guru has been stated like a potter. How does he make a, you can say that's, what do you call it, matka, the pitcher. How does he make it? Inside he'll do like this and outside he'll. So both have to go simultaneously. If the Guru does only this, gone. If the king also does only this, no shade. Right or wrong? If the parents also do this, then also. And if he does this only, then also it's gone. So both have to go. This also and the hammering also. So remember one thing, sometimes people say, oh, angry. Sometimes people tell me, when I see, for us it becomes like this, that you're on the edge of a, for example, on a mountain, you're on the edge. You're just going to fall. Because you're not seeing down, you're seeing up like this when you're walking. And how will you tell that person, hey, don't go further. Stop. By the time that he'll go, he's gone. So what will you do? You will shout. Will you do that or not? You will shout. That means you're concerned about that person. You're concerned about him. Where is he going to go? So this is, they say, I'm Shiva, Lord Shiva's devotee. No, you're not. Then I ask them a simple question. Do you know what Lord Shiva wants from you? What does he desire? I am Lord Durga's devotee. Okay. What does Durga Devi ask from you? Do you know that? No. I am Ganapatiji's the devotee. What does Ganapatiji instruct you to do? You are a chamcha. In Hindi we call that person a chamcha. Chamcha means what? A person who basically there to fulfill his desires. He does arti to you. Why? So you get something. He doesn't want to follow you. That's why you'll see such type of people. What do? They'll come to you when they want to have some work. And when you tell them to do something, they'll slip away. A devotee is not like that. A devotee is a person who is basically interested in asking. If the master also asks him, what can I do for you? No, I am your servant. I'll do something for you. But how can you do something till you do not know the instructions? So I tell them, go and look for Lord Shiva's instructions. Go and see what Lord Shiva desires. Ask him, whom are you meditating on? Whom are you meditating on? Ask him. Ask him now. Question to be asked or not? Ask him. Becoming like in India, only 200 years back, there was a devotee by the name of Nasi Mehta. I don't know if you have heard of him here or not. He was a very big devotee of Lord Krishna basically. Previously to that, he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. He was such a big devotee that Lord Shiva gave him darshan. When he gave him darshan, so Lord Shiva asked him, what do you want? He said, I don't want anything. Well, but I have come now, you have to take something. No, I'm not interested. I'm not wanting something and I'm worshipping you. He says, but you'll have to take something. He says, okay, give me the dearest thing which you have. He didn't take him to Parvati ji. Yes, he took him to Vaikuntha, to Dwarka. And he told Lord Krishna that give him your bhakti. Lord Krishna got up from his throne and ran and hugged Lord Shiva. And he said, why have you come here? What do you need? He says, please give him your bhakti. He said, that you could have given him. That you could have given him. Well then, no, I used him to come here. I wanted to meet you. And then after that, Narsi Mehta became one of the greatest Lord Krishna's devotee. For your knowledge, this is not a very old, only 200 years back he was there. Lakshmi Devi herself basically arranged for the dowry of his daughter. Yes. He used to just keep doing bhajan. Everything. Akrurji used to come and fill up every month his ration. That this man will go. He's just only doing kirtan and this man will basically, he's gone crazy. He will not eat also anything. So he himself came. When his wife died, he did a lot of kirtan and danced. Oh Krishna, you are so blessed, so merciful, you have taken away one of my stones, which was basically putting me down into the Bhav Sagar. Have you heard anyone doing this? And then his son dies and then he jumps again. And he laughs because he actually knows no one has died. Bhagavad Gita first, a person who is taking to spirituality, remember one thing. The first thing you have to understand that I am the soul, not this body. If you are on the bodily platform, today what is happening? Everything we are doing for ourselves. What are you doing yoga for? To keep yourself healthy. Why? So you can do more sense gratification. In the West, this is actually, why do you want to be more tension free? I'll do yoga, I'll do pranayam. Because pranayam basically affects your mind. Yes, those breathing exercises is there. They affect your prana. So what happens? When my tension comes down, I get more knowledge and I can earn more money. My productivity goes up. Man, it's nonsense. This is not what yoga should be giving. And most of the people are doing it for this. Sorry, yoga is not for your mental satisfaction. There again the selfish thing comes. In bhakti, remember one thing. A bhakta never thinks about himself. He never thinks also of his mukti, for your knowledge. He does not want or aspire liberation also. That is why Bhakti Yoga is considered in Bhagavad Gita, if you go properly also through it. Go through the 6th chapter, last shloka, where Krishna says, out of all the yogis, the greatest is the Bhakta is the greatest yogi. He says this very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because the Bhagavad Gita does not desire, the Bhakta does not desire anything for himself. Nothing. Who's a real Bhakta? Who only desires for his master. Not a single thing. He does not desire liberation also. No. Till the point you're desiring for yourself, you're still selfish. Desire everything for the Lord. I am a servant of the Lord. I was a servant. I am a servant and I'll remain a servant. That is what says Bhakti is eternal. Bhakti is eternal. That's what Prabhupada, sometimes people used to come and talk to him. He says, I am not first of all teaching you how to be fearful of God. Number 2, I am not teaching you how to become servant of God. I am going to give you that knowledge by which the Lord becomes your servant. You see it? Arjuna and Krishna in Mahabharata. Who was the driver? Let's talk very clear in today's terms. Chauffeur. He was actually a chauffeur. The Supreme Personality Godhead became the servant of his devotee. But how? Because of the love. A friend, two friends, basically when they are very close to one another, will, if one is on a very high ranking position also would like to serve his friend, would he not like to do it? Their ranks don't matter. That love, when it comes, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 5th chapter, 29th shlok, he says very clearly, Suhridim sarva bhutanam. I am the friend. And whatever friend, there are different type of friends. One friend is this, you go in the morning walk or something. Hello, hello. I actually joke. If you know a little Hindi, it says hello. Hell means what? Hello. And the other person also says hello. You also take nark. Both of you say what? Hello. I say at least do Ram Ram or something, Baba. Why are you basically saying hello? You also take hell and I also take hell. Both of us go to hell. No? How we start off with hello. See, such great enemies. Start off with this only. And then hi. When do you say hi? When you have some pain. That's the time you start saying hi. That is why sometimes English is called a Malecha language. But actually we are smart enough. We should be smart enough to use anything for understanding God. So that's why we use English also. That's why one of our devotees, he basically stated, he said, you know why Britishers came to spread the message of the Vedas to them. That's why they came and taught us English. Otherwise, if they had not come to India, we would not have known English. We would have not known English. And we could not be able to communicate to the world. Then people like Neil Bohr, atom, the person who basically found the composition of the atom, Neil Bohr, a Nobel Prize winner, he said, I go into the Upanishads to ask questions. I go into the Upanishads to ask questions. I get the answers there. So you have to understand this. Bhakti is an eternal process. I'll give you a simple example. Let's do it through logic. Because we understand logic more than we understand the Shastras actually. Because the moment we talk of Shastras, the intelligence starts working. Hey, where did they come from? How can I think they are true? The intelligence, not intelligence. Now let us stick to the Lord. So it's simple. If you want to reach some eternal position, right? The process should be eternal or temporary? Okay, temporary process you need as eternal. Only an eternal process can give you an eternal thing. How can a temporary process give you an eternal thing? It can never. So you ask a devotee, ask him a question. What is your actually goal? He'll say Bhakti. And after you attain Bhakti, he says what else? Well, more Bhakti, more service. Bhakti is the means and Bhakti is the end. In all other yoga processes, the yoga process finishes after liberation. Whereas in Bhakti, the Bhakti starts before liberation and never ends. It never ends because anything which is process which ends cannot give you eternity. How can it give it eternity? How can the temporary process give you eternity? It can never give you. That's why Bhakti Yoga has been, from Narad Bhakti Sutra you see it, it is eternal. You go through the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about it. The world has every time been ruled by bhaktas, never by anyone else. And that also Vishnu bhaktas, remember one thing. Never a Shiv bhakta ruled the world, never bhakta of any other demigod ruled the world. All the people who ruled the world were Vishnu bhaktas. And who's the Asur actually? Asur is a person who's against Vishnu. That person has been defined in the Shastras as a person more. All the Asuras were against whom? Tell me one thing. Against Vishnu. They were against Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Madhukaitav, all of them. Against whom? Vishnu. Vishnu were there because they knew that this is the person who actually is the main person. This person, the Asuras know that who is the main person. Because they are chelas of Shukracharya. Remember, there are two types of Brahmins in today also in this world. One is Vashishta's chelas and one is Shukracharya chelas. Shukracharya is a very big acharya. Remember one thing, he's got more powers than Vashishta. He's got more power than Vashishta, but still he is the guru of whom? Demons. Very powerful person. And Bali Maharaj was a devotee. You have heard that? Where he rejected his own guru. When his guru told him not to surrender to Vishnu, what did he do? He rejected him. Sorry. This is what I have been waiting for many millions of lifetimes to surrender to Vishnu, and now Vishnu comes in front of me and says, you surrender unto me, and I like a fool would not surrender to him. I will not surrender to you. So you have to be cautious of Shukracharyas also. Kali Yuga, this is which Yuga? And Kali Yuga is not a Yuga of Dharma. Please remember one thing. Kali Yuga is a Yuga of Adharma. So this is what Bhakti is. Now how in the Kali Yuga, actually you don't become a Bhakta. You are already a Bhakta. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, Mam eva amsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Very simple Sanskrit. Mam. Mam means mera, mine. Eva, certainly. Mam eva amsa. Here is ansha. Mam eva amsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. And this ansh, this soul is sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. It was an ansh, it is an ansh and will remain a ansh. Now what is the work of the ansh? The work of the ansh is to serve the Purna. Right or wrong? The work of the ansh is to serve the Purna. So the moment he leaves the service of Purna, Krishna, then what happens? He falls into Maya. He falls into Maya. That means we are all actually anshas. So that means the ansha's nature is to serve. You can see it in the world also. It is distortedly working out. For example, I'll give you, people do not know the meaning of dharma also. Dharma actually means, very simply try to understand. You tell me, what do you understand by dharma? Let me understand what you people understand about dharma. What do you mean by dharma?
Righteousness.
Righteousness, okay.
Right conduct.
Right conduct, okay. Anyone else wants to add anything? Nature? She is closest. What you have to do? What is your nature? What do you have to do? But how do you come to know what you have to do? For example, there is a fire. Now what does the fire has to do? It has to burn. And then how do you extinguish the fire? Which thing of what nature would douse the fire? That is water. So actually dharma means, in simple words, I'll ask you a question. What is the dharma of fire? Two things. Wherever there is fire, there will be light and heat. There will be light and heat. Spark. It will fall on you. It will not burn you, but you basically feel the heat. Use a little light. So wherever there is fire, there has to be heat and light. So that is the dharma of fire. What is the dharma of sugar? Sweetness. Dharma is that quality of a particular thing which cannot be separated from it at any point of time. That is actually the meaning of dharma. Now after that it comes that your dharma, what is your dharma? Everyone here in the material world, I don't have so much time, that's why I'm going. And I will ask this question to people, that what do you mean? How do you see dharma? What type of dharma do you have? All of us, dharma has to be one. Dharma can't be two. And what is the dharma? Every one of us is serving someone or the other. Right or wrong? The president of the country also would say, I was talking in US also, I said, why are we shouting anything to the other people of the world? But he is also actually a servant of his people. The businessman is actually a very big servant. He tells the customer, what does he tell the customer? Give me one opportunity to serve you. Right? And what is the serviceman trying to do? He's telling me, give me a good job. I'll serve you. Give me a good job, good money. He's asking for that. Every one of us is serving someone or the other. And my Guru Maharaj Prabhupada used to joke and sometimes say, sometimes rich people used to say, I don't serve anyone. They'll take out the dog in the morning for. He's serving the dog actually. Is it right or wrong? And ultimately he's serving his senses. He's serving. No one can remain without service. But this service is distorted. Like for example water. What is the dharma of water? The dharma of water is actually two. First, it is in natural condition, it is liquid. And the second thing is this, it wets anything it touches. Right? So when you put some temperature, that means lower the temperature, it becomes ice. That fluidity is lost because of some external condition. But what happens? it still wets. But it does not wet as much as water would wet. In the same way, when you heat it, it becomes steam. There also its liquidity, actually if you say liquidity is higher, but no, it's not higher because that's not its natural state. That heat has basically been increased by which it becomes steam. There also what does it do? It wets. But where do you get the most wet is in its natural state. In the same way at this moment, because of this body covering, we are serving the body. But actually we are not the body, we are the soul. Very simple. I am the soul. My soul, wrong grammar. My soul is wrong grammar. It is Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma. I am not Par Brahmasmi. Please understand, in Bhakti we don't agree to this particular phrase where it says the Par Brahm and Brahm is same. Sorry. If Par Brahm and Brahm is same, then there is no Bhakti. How can there be Bhakti if there is not two? If there is one, Bhakti is no. Bhakti is not there. Sorry. Bhakti Yoga, you can't talk Bhakti Yoga if you say everything is one. Bhakti means two and third thing is a relationship between the two. The love between the two. These three, and this very clearly Bhakta Sutta says that Bhakti is eternal. Now the soul is Ansha. The Ansha has to serve the Purna. That is called, our service keeps on changing. Customers keeps on changing. President keeps on changing. Citizens keeps on changing. Your relatives keep on changing. Everything keeps on changing in this world. But the Atma is eternal. So it should have an eternal service. And what is that eternal service? You may come in any lifetime, in any way, in anywhere in the universe or the in infinite universes, Vishnu will be there. So the service to that Lord is known as Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal and Dharma means service. That is actually the meaning of Sanatan Dharma, the word Sanatan Dharma. So you are all actually Anshas, we are all Anshas. So we are all Bhaktas. Today we have forgotten that we are Bhaktas. So then why the satsang is there? The satsang is there to make you come out of that amnesia. We are all in amnesia. To come out of that amnesia, to realize your real position. And not only servant actually. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija pradapita. I am the seed giving Father. Oh my God, that changes the whole perspective. That means we are of one family. We are of one family. Not two also. One family. Because the father is one. That's why sometimes I jokingly say the parents are nothing but tailors. Yes, they are tailors because the Panch Bhut have been given by the Lord. Mana Buddhi Hankar has been given by the Lord. 7th chapter Krishna very clearly says that Apara and Para Prakriti, they are two of these 8 elements out of which this body is made. So the Lord supplies you the cloth and the parents stitch them. So they are secondary creators. What are they? A tailor is a secondary creator. The cloth is provided by you. But what happens with us? See our mentality? We go into a house as a carpenter. The person gives us the wood, he gives us the nail, everything. And then what do? We make the cupboard and start taking it. And then you shout, hey! Where are you taking this cupboard? He says, I made it. But who supplied everything? So cupboard belongs to whom? The person who made it? Or is it the person whose the material belongs to? Tell me. The person whose the material belongs to, that's the person who basically owns the thing. So we also start claiming things to be ours. Have you created any of this mud, this earth, this water, this air? Have you created it? So how can you claim it to be yours? How can you claim it to be yours? That is how bhakti works actually. That's why 24 hours you can be in samadhi. Only by bhakti yoga can you be 24 hours in samadhi. Otherwise you'll have to go to the jungle to do samadhi. It's not possible. You'll have to go to seclusion. First, other than how 24 hours you can be in samadhi. Whereas Krishna says in Gita very clearly, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarana. Tasmat sarveshu. Therefore, sarve. Sarva means all. Kaleshu. Kal means time. Mam anusmarana. Me. Anusmarana means remember me, follow me every moment. Yuddhayacha. And then he says you fight also. Hey, crazy man. Krishna, you are basically crazy. How can you say every time you think of me and then you fight? You ask me to do samadhi. At one place you say the samadhi, you have to go in the 6th chapter. If you go through the 6th chapter, he says you go to a secluded place and do a pious place. You can't do samadhi anywhere. You can't sit in New York and do samadhi. No. Because very clearly it is stated in the scriptures. They say it is Kali Yuga. Then I ask a simple question, where in the Vedas the exception has been given? If there is a rule, there should be an exception to the rule. You can't make the exception. I'm sorry. You tell me in the Veda where the exception is. How can you be in 24 hours samadhi? You'll have to, it says very clearly, you have to be in a brahmachari ashram. That means no sex life at all. You can't do 1 hour samadhi. What is 1 hour samadhi? I've never heard about 1 hour samadhis. No, sorry. You're 24 hours in samadhi. That is only possible in bhakti yoga. And very simply I explain to you. With this I'll end. Sometimes people ask me, that how can you be in samadhi 24 hours? When samadhi means what? You're thinking of the Lord every moment of your life. You have to only shift your love to God. The moment you shift your love to God, what will happen? You'll every time be thinking of the person you love. Right or wrong? Simple. Very simple. The person you love, what will happen? You'll think every second of that person. And he says, how will you see everything? When you see anything, you should think of God. Very simple. Your son or your child goes to her maternal parents, your wife's parents. Small shoe is lying there. The moment you see the shoe, whom do you think of? How? Why? Because it belongs to him. The moment you see the shoe, it reminds you of the son, because it belongs to the son. In the same way, when you're in the bhakti yoga, you're loving God. What happens when you see anything? You immediately think of the Creator. That is the Lord. That this belongs to my God. And then what happens? Then you say, what happens to my house? Now that house is, you are a trustee in that house. You are what you are? You are a trustee. You're not the owner of the house. You are a trustee. This body also does not belong to you. But you have been given this body. So you are a trustee of this body. So whenever you become a trustee, actually your responsibilities increase. If you think this thing is mine, you become more complacent. Right or wrong? But when something is given to you and you're a good person, what will happen? You'll take care of that thing more than what you take care of your own things. Whole perspective changed. That is actually what he's saying, eternal. Eternal means, try to understand, eternity doesn't mean after death. No. Eternal means every moment. Eternal, sometimes we start thinking eternal, when you talk of eternal, after death I'll become eternal. No. It says Bhakti Yoga is, he says Amrita Swarupa. His nature is eternal. Eternal means every moment. Eternity also encompasses the present, or it does only encompasses the future? Every moment encompasses every moment. So this is actually what bhakti is. So my only request is this. Yes, how do you develop the love of God? So see, Gyan is in an Agyani. Right? For taking Gyan, you have to go to a Gyani. To take Bhakti, you have to go to a Bhakta. Simple. It's not difficult to understand. If you want money, you go to a moneyed person, or go to a beggar. Don't go for a loan to a bank which is going bankrupt. They'll ask you for a loan. Then you put some FD. We are in a bad position. Give me some fixed deposits. Buy our shares. You don't go to. So in the same way, to get knowledge, you go to a knowledgeable person. To get bhakti, you go to a bhakta. And that's why you go into Narad Bhakti Sutra. We're going into it. What was Arjuna? Krishna says time and again in Krishna, as you are a devotee of mine, that's why I'm giving you this knowledge. As you are a devotee, you're not a knowledgeable person. As a knowledgeable person, I'm not giving you this knowledge, because a knowledgeable person cannot understand me. Only a person who is a devotee can understand you. Simple. This is also simple to understand. If I want to understand you, I can ask some agency, or I can go on my own, know your bank accounts, everything. But can I know you really? I can know your external things, but internally I can't know you. Only a person who is a friend of yours, which closest is basically a wife, understands you the most. Or a wife, husband. If they are friends, I'm talking of if they are friends, because sometimes they are not. They live the whole lifetime without being a friend. So that is what bhakti is. Now any questions? Please. If you have any questions, you can put them. I'll try my best. Every time remember one thing. You are a fool till you don't ask a question. Immediately become knowledgeable. So Arjuna didn't want to remain a fool for a long time. What did he do? He did lot of good. Forgive everyone. This dude thought it was so great that he's forgiving everyone. But Krishna was calling him a fool. Mostly people, when they read the first chapter and the second chapter in the beginning, I talk to many missionaries also, they say, see, this man is so great and your Lord made him to fight. When you are not understanding. A heart specialist, a heart surgeon, if a person gets a heart attack and there has to be an open heart surgery and the heart specialist says, no violence. I will do no violence. What is going to happen to the patient? He dies. So actually that is not violence. That is what? Because after reading Bhagavad Gita, you become non-violent. You get peace. See what spirituality is. Krishna is coaxing him to fight, and when you read that book, you get the opposite. What do you get? Peace. Because he's telling you, fight in what mood? Like a surgeon is there, and he finds his worst enemy, who is actually controlling his land, which is worth billions, is come onto this table. Now what will be his mood? Now law also can't catch hold of him. I'll kill him on the table. So that was Arjuna's mood initially. These people have done like this, I'll kill them. He said, no, that's wrong mood. You should be moved to establish dharma. Kshatriya's work is not to be attached or detached. If it is your own son also, that's what Lord Rama also taught. This question mostly comes up in Hindu Samaj a lot. That some people ask you that Sita ji ko chhod diya, he left Mother Sita. How Ram is great. But Lord Rama is known as Pati Ram, known as Beta Ram. He is known as Raja Ram. Because when he took the position of a king, that means family becomes second. His main family becomes the praja, the subjects become the main family. So it is not easy to hold those positions. Today everyone wants to hold those positions but doesn't realize that when you take those positions, it's not something. That's why he was teaching us. He saved Sita Mata. He killed Ravana and the whole lot of them to protect when he was Pati Ram. But when he became Raja Ram, King Ram, then he sacrificed the same wife for whom he fought. So you have to understand this. So Bhagavad Gita is I request you all that please, there are many translations, just that you can read them, that's not a problem. I read 48 translations when I was 22 years old. But I got attracted by Bhakti. Because when I came to Bhakti, I got the answers to all my questions, never a doubt. So I request you, read. You got some Bhagavad Gitas, you can read that also. You got, so many people have written in India, there is no problem in reading them. Give yourself a chance of reading a Bhagavad Gita translated by a devotee. People have done it who are yogis, who are jnanis, and there are devotee translations also. So go through them, go through and see them. Whatever I have presented, I am not God, I am a servant of God. A devotee never considers himself to be God. We every time consider ourselves not servant of God also. We consider ourselves the servant of 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 God. We don't take indirect relationship also. No, I don't think I am so big. So I think so. There are no questions, and you are now confused. So that's good. No problems. Because in the stage of confusion also you don't ask questions, because you think. So I ask you to think, no problems. That's good. So with this we'll end this lecture session and